All rise.
This is deeper than money. Talk to me. I want viewers watching my show to believe in themselves.
Judge Hatchett is compelling.
If he is not going to honor you, he needs to be gone.
Compassionate.
I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't. And I want to figure out how we get this straight.
She's powerful.
If I were in this situation, I would have put you out too.
And she's on the bench.
I feel like I'm being judged here.
That's what I do.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Sarah Wallace is suing Max Guerin in the amount of $5,000. Ms. Wallace claims her roommate unplugged their internet router and says she was fired for missing a remote meeting. Mr. Guerin is countersuing for $355.
All right, I understand that we have a couple of roommates in here, Harvey. Big dispute. You're suing your roommate for $5,000. He's suing you for another $355 in what we call a countersuit. How did you all become roommates to begin with?
Your Honor, I had a 2-bedroom apartment that I was living in with my college roommate. She unfortunately had to relocate. A bedroom opened up, and then a mutual friend of ours, Jim, connected us both, and that's ultimately how he ended up moving in.
And how long were you all roommates before this whole blow-up happened that you're in court about?
About 10 months we were living together.
All right, and so you want to tell me what happened and why you're in here suing him?
Yes. Your Honor, when he moved in, I knew immediately it was not going to be a good fit.
Well, wait a minute. Did you not talk to him before he moved in? I mean, you're busy with work, but did you not sit down and kind of talk about this?
Our mutual friend vouched for him, and I, as an adult human being, I sort of assume that most other adult human beings have a modicum of cleanliness that they sort of operate in. So I was a little bit shocked to discover that Max operates, to put it lightly, like a slovenly pig child.
Wait a minute, that's putting it lightly?
Yes, that's putting it lightly.
That's putting it lightly?
It's kind of harsh.
I mean, I'd hate to know what not putting it lightly is like. So, come on, Max, you are the roommate, a mutual person put you all together. Did you all sit down and kind of talk about what the expectations were going to be in this apartment?
No, Your Honor. So basically, Jim, I told Jim that I was looking for an apartment to stay in. I needed a roommate. And he just told me that he had a friend. She was nice. He basically told me that she's looking for a roommate. I moved in there. We didn't sit down. We just basically both trusted Jim.
Man, Jim seems to be a linking piece here. So what did Jim tell you about her, if anything? He just said she was nice.
He said she's nice. She has some good position with the company. She's very professional. You probably won't see her much because I'm a bartender, so I work really late nights. So I wasn't supposed to see her at all. So.
Oh, okay. So you all are kind of like ships passing in the night.
Yeah,
I'm assuming you work during the day. He works at night. Seems like that would work.
You would think that that would be ideal. However, he left evidence of his living throughout during the day.
So what does that mean? Tell me what that means. So you're being, if you tell me that he basically is a pig, and you said that was lightly, what was he doing?
Your Honor, have you ever smelled 3-week-old Chinese food that has molded to the coffee table?
No.
Yeah, no, why would you? I've never experienced anything like this in my entire life. You would think that having a California state of health and safety to be a bartender, that he would have some sort of idea of like what health and safety would be. But he would leave dishes in the sink. I created a chore chart because as adults, I would think that he would be able to sort of, I don't know, clean up after himself. But he would leave things around. I would come home from a long day. It would be absolutely disgusting. And it got to the point where I had to start doing everything myself.
So when you mean doing everything yourself, you're saying that he would leave the dishes, he would leave you to do all the cleaning?
Everything.
After him? I mean, we're not talking about general cleaning in the apartment. We're saying that the dishes were left, food was left out. You're telling me Chinese food was left and that you would have to clean up. Did you all ever sit down and talk about this? Max, what's going on?
She's really exaggerating things.
Oh, she's exaggerating. Okay,
Yeah.
so tell me what was going on.
Okay, so first of all, she's not telling you what she did. She didn't clean the stuff that I left out. She would, for example, bring the dishes, leave them on my bed, the dirty dishes out of the sink, leave them on my bed after they've only been there for like 2 days.
Your Honor.
And she also brought a trash bag in there just because I didn't take it out. She's saying she did them herself. If she did them herself, the Chinese food wouldn't be there for 3 weeks. She didn't do anything.
Okay, we had a chore chart, right? Because it got to the point where I would say to him, hey, could you please, I know that you work hours and you work with people that are, I don't know, can you please we have a dishwasher. Put your dishes in the dishwasher. Take the trash out. But it got to the point where he was ignoring me repeatedly, and I was talking to a blank wall, so the only message that I was able to send him was to put it all in a bag and throw it in his room.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
You're suing him for $5,000. Why?
His negligent and malicious actions caused me to lose my job.
And later,
did you all sit down and talk about the plans for this graduation party before it happened?
2 months prior.
2 months prior.
Yes, Your Honor.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Sarah Wallace, who is suing Max Guerin for lost wages.
Let's get to why you're actually here. You're suing him for $5,000. Why?
Well, Your Honor, his negligent and malicious actions caused me to lose my job.
What? How?
Well, so it all started Sunday night. We had gotten in an argument.
What kind of argument?
So I had, as you know, I work in a very stressful job, and a lot of people rely on me. And I had a bunch of papers that needed to get notarized, and I left them on the counter. And this was after I had asked him repeatedly to take the trash out. And in malicious compliance, he took the trash and my papers and threw them out.
Did you do that?
It was not done on purpose. I had no idea what those papers were. It was on top of like a newspaper stack. She obviously wasn't organized. It was next to the trash on the side of the counter. The papers were there. I just threw everything out together.
It had a watermark with confidential stamped on it with the logo of my company. There was no way he did not know what he was doing.
So I bet you that started an argument. So what happened after that?
Well, so I would like to show you Exhibit A of evidence, Your Honor.
Please.
I received this text. Thank you. Where I can't remember it off the top of my head, you will read it, where he says, I'm so completely done with you, you're ruining the apartment, something to the effect of, I'm going to teach you a lesson.
All right, it says, I am, and this is all in caps, so completely done with you screwing up the apartment. And you say, I told you to take the trash out. Well, maybe I'll teach you a lesson. All right, Max, what was going on?
There wasn't anything that I was planning. I was just gonna
You don't
show
say,
her.
I'm going to teach you a lesson unless you have something in mind.
All right, so let's get to the real core, bottom line of why you're here. You're suing Max because you say you lost your job.
Yes.
And something happened, though, with the internet and the Wi-Fi connection.
Yes.
Can we get to that?
Yes. We had spoken previously that day because I had a very, very important Zoom meeting the next day. I work from home sometimes, and I was hosting the Zoom meeting, which meant that I had to log on first so that I could let everybody in. I wake up the next morning, and I go to log on to the meeting when I find out that the internet is not on. And Max keeps the router in his room.
All right, so stop right there because I read the complaint. Why was the router in Max's room?
That's where the cable had been previously established by the company.
Okay, so Max, what happened with the router?
The night before, the internet connection was very spotty, so I wanted to do a hard reset. I unplugged it as I was getting ready, to leave for out of town, and I'm just a forgetful person. I forgot to plug it back in.
That's not the lesson you were trying to teach me?
No.
No?
It's not.
So it is your sworn testimony, because you're under oath, that you literally unplugged it with the intentions of plugging it back, but you forgot it, left town, and locked the door.
Correct.
And that's part of your counterclaim. It is your counterclaim for the $355 because the door was damaged. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. But on that morning, you can't get into his room. The router is not working, And so what did you do?
Your Honor, I panicked. I had absolutely no other choice than to break the door down.
And so you broke the door down. You have evidence about the door being broken. Let me see that, please.
Yeah, she broke the whole door casing and the door jamb.
All right, let me see that. Okay, how much of this money, the $5,000, is that all because you lost your job? Okay, and your salary was what?
I was making $2,500 a month, and I was out of work for 2 months.
You were out of work for 2 months. So after this happened, were you immediately fired?
Yes, and Your Honor, I was immediately fired. I was called an embarrassment to my company, and I was let go immediately.
It should come as no surprise that the executive team at blank company, we won't talk about the company name, has been dissatisfied with your work ethic and consistency, and we see it fit to go in separate ways. It sounds like to me there was a lot more going than the internet that morning. This termination letter is not triggered on just that internet situation and those lost papers. Clearly, there had been a pattern of some problems. Do I think that there should be some consideration? Yes. Do I think that there should be an offset about the door? You're going to pay for your own door. So I'm going to enter judgment in her favor of $1,000, and I'm going to dismiss your counterclaim. But Sarah, you know, next time you probably wouldn't get anything because, again, there were certain things that were going on in that situation that both of you all could have had a mutual understanding about and come to terms with that would not have escalated to the point it did. That is my judgment. We'll stand adjourned. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. The counterclaim is offset and therefore dismissed. We will stand adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $1,000.
Have fun in your new sty.
Can't wait to never see you again.
Likewise.
Please exit to the rear of the court. Reserve your documents.
Coming up.
What has been the relationship since you all divorced?
We tried to co-parenting. It's been a battle because he shuts down and he doesn't communicate effectively.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Desiree Jenkins is suing Terrell Lofton in the amount of $918.13. Ms. Jenkins claims her ex-husband agreed to pay for their daughter's graduation party and says the defendant bought their daughter a car instead.
I understand that you are suing the defendant for $918.13 to be exact. You all share a child, right, in common?
Yes.
How old is this child?
She's 18.
So at one point you all had a relationship, and tell me about that relationship. I want to send the background.
We met in college. I was a sophomore, he was a senior. We was married for 5 years. We separated when she was 3 and had a divorce when she was 8.
So you separated when she was 3, but didn't get a divorce until she was 8?
Yes.
Why did it take you all so long to get a divorce? Mr. Lofton?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
Those things just kind of happen, don't
Yeah.
they? What has been the relationship since you all divorced? What's been happening?
We tried to co-parenting. It's been a battle because he shuts down and he doesn't communicate effectively. That's why we divorced in the first place, because he's not a communicator.
I try and speak with her. I think I communicate very well. It's just that she doesn't receive what I'm saying correctly. She misinterprets things.
He misinterprets things. He's selective hearing.
I disagree.
We see why they're divorced.
Yeah.
And we see why they're on different sides of my courtroom today.
Coming up.
What was the agreement about how the party would be paid for, Mr. Lofton?
I let her know that if she needed any assistance, that I would assist, and she just needs to let me know.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Desiree Jenkins, who is suing Terrell Lofton for breach of contract.
All right, so now you have this wonderful daughter. I understand from the complaint that there was a graduation party, yes?
Yes.
That's right.
So tell me about the party.
We got together 2 months before graduation, and I called him, and we sat down over the phone and talked about agreeing on doing her graduation party. We was having discrepancy in doing her graduation because everything I would say, he would say the opposite.
Did you all sit down and talk about the plans for this graduation party before it happened?
2 months prior.
2 months prior.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what was the agreement between the two of you about this graduation party? Mr. Lofton, what happened?
Well, she was telling me all the things she wanted to do, and I said, well, it might be best if she takes the reins and plan it out.
Oh, so you gave her the authority to plan the party?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that you all couldn't agree on how the party was going to be planned. What was the agreement about how the party would be paid for, Mr. Lofton?
I let her know that if she needed any assistance, that I would assist, and she just needs to let me know.
Oh, okay. So why are you in my courtroom? If he agreed that he would give any financial assistance for this graduation party, then why are you suing him?
Because he didn't hold his bargain on the graduation party like he's saying he was supposed to.
So, all right, so this is a graduation party. He says that he gave you full authority to plan the party.
Yes.
He said that he would do whatever he needed to do to support the party financially.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
So how did we come up with almost $1,000?
I have the receipt here.
Let me see those.
The breakdown of everything.
All right. So, were you at the party?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, party was nice.
It was great.
Why not pay for the half of the party?
Your Honor, I didn't receive that. And at the party, I showed up to the party with my present for my daughter. I got her a new car. Well, it's a used car, but for her, it's new.
Yeah.
That I put down $1,000 on.
Let me
You
see
could use
that.
that toward the party instead of getting her a car.
Did you ever say to Miss Jenkins, hey, now listen, you know what? You need to pay for the party because I'm buying our daughter a car?
I didn't say that.
What I have before me is a case involving your agreement, verbal, and you've acknowledged that you should pay for half the party. So you're going to pay her the $918.13 that she has outlined in her evidence here. I understand about the car, I think that's great, but it doesn't relieve you of the responsibility for half of this graduation party. Be grateful you've got a daughter who graduated. Be grateful you have a daughter you all can both celebrate. But for right now, in this case, judgment for the plaintiff for the reasons I've so stated will stand adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $918.13.
Did you see that?
Yeah, that was a hesitation right there.
So what do you all like when you're not in here?
I just try not to see her.
He shuts down.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.